Hey everybody, how you doing? And welcome back. Thank you for tuning in earlier today when we had our Coliseum broadcast. It is my pleasure to present my new friend, Tejal Shah. Tejal, did I get that right?
You did. Hi, Sunny. Nice. Thank you for having me.
Oh, hey, thank you for coming on. And folks, we met at thanks to Wade Ramlett, and
Hi,
I'll
Wayne.
leave it at that. And so, but Tejal has a exciting firm that is called Votivate. It's like voting and motivating or getting motivated to vote at the same time. And Votivate is I'm actually as I type this, uh, putting it up, Tvate and Votivate here. First of all, let me it is a company that in describing it makes it easy for you to personalize your politics and create your own political agenda, and it uses AI driven technology, and it helps you identify candidates and causes that resonate with you. Am I doing that right? Did I say that right?
Yeah, yes. You did a great job. So you're hired.
Oh, cool. Woo, thank you. Wow. Yeah. Hey, messaging.
Yeah.
How did you come to start this company? In fact, I actually joined as a member to get started. But yeah, how did you come to get this started? You know.
Well, I think everyone feels, voting is the foundation of our democracy here, but it's hard. It's hard. People feel like they need to have PhDs to do that, and I think that's what made that's kind of how the conversation of Votivate started, because I have voted ever since I could, but in talking to a lot of friends and family, the enthusiasm wasn't at the same level, and I was trying to figure out why. So my co-founder Andrea and I, hi Andrea, were like being like, God, I just wish there was a site that would make it easy for us to digest like what we believe and make it easy to support people that are in line with what we want, right? So it comes back to we the people, what we want, and how is it reflected and pushed forward in legislation and in all of the other facets of our democracy. And while there are a lot of great sites doing lots of different things, I think this is a big gap. And I don't think it's really, I think a lot of these platforms tend to be partisan, and I don't think I think what we found that it doesn't need to be. Most Americans really believe 70% at least want the same things. And so why are we at such odds? So I think if we brought the issues forward and get people in touch with what their politics really are, then we take kind of the people and the idolization out of it and really get back to like what needs to be solved.
How how does it work? Because we're looking at the site. Is it? It doesn't. It looks like its own video based. As a newly formed member, but I haven't had a chance to test out the platform. How do I do it? What am I doing?
Yeah, so our website is still actually in the works. We what we currently have is a lot of great original video content of various people around the country that decided to run for various offices and hearing about their issues and what they brought to the table. So these are people that people didn't that aren't on the mainstream media. So it really does give an opportunity for you to find people in your own communities that could resonate with what you are trying to accomplish. And so that's kind of where the video content comes in. What we also want to do is get people to engage. I think it's good to have difference of opinions as long as we can do it respectfully. And so we're going to have more opportunities for that content to come. If you really start taking like the people out of it and get back to issues, you can really come together and really collaborate on the same things and get things to move forward. And I don't think we're there. I think what we've seen from these last few elections, like we're extremely polarized, but we 70% still want the same things. They want, access to high quality, accessible healthcare. That same for education. They want to be able to save away money, put food on the table, make a better future for their kids. All of these things. I think this resonates. And then for some reason, that that messaging is getting in the way of things happening for the people.
Hey, I'm curious, is your intent to host the video on site, or how are you doing it?
You mean like in person?
Or I mean on the platform, because I'm looking at these different videos that imply that they can be played, or imply that video is at the basis of the platform. Is that the case, or how is this working? Because I see these videos that if I press this, I'm thinking it should play, and I know it's under development and everything else. So I was trying to.
You could play. Yeah. They're not playing.
This one that I'm
Hi,
clicking on.
And I'm Tejals Shah, the founder of Votivate.
It plays.
Today's episode, they all play. They're all live. This is, I mean, we meant by the website being in works, we have some more interactive tools and stuff that we're building right now to bring forward onto the platform. So right now it's video content. You can create accounts. But there's a whole bunch of things that are currently in development that we want to bring live to the site.
Well, but I'm asking, here's why I'm asking, because I don't even know if you remember a guy named Luke Lemure, and he had something called Seismic. And I've been on, to be, full disclosure, I was at Twitter's launch party. I was on the iReport before CNN bought it. And this is like 2005, 2006. Anyway, the dream for me has been to go back to a video-based exchange, because of my intent that my take, and I'd love to get your response on this, that these text-based responses on social media are actually not healthy, because people interpret words in a way that we don't anticipate. And so what we write sometimes invites an argument by somebody else who doesn't know us to begin with. But if it's on video, the exchange is different. And so when YouTube first started, we had these video-based exchanges, right? Mm-hmm. But there's this practical issue of trying to get your that's actually not what I was looking for. It was this, but I was trying to get it to where it was us talking like this. There we go. There's this practical issue of the cost of hosting a video on a platform, right? Yeah. And that's something you should really ever do. But on the other hand, I'm thinking it would be neat, and I didn't know if this is your intent, to eventually have a video interaction where somebody can interact with a video like that in your platform. How is that working, or is that the intent, or what is the intent?
Yeah, that's partially true, because you're absolutely correct, right? 70% of communication is nonverbal. And that sets every tone of an exchange, right? And that is exactly what's missing when people are picking these fights, because they take it for the exact text without any sort of the intention, the experience of the person that's saying it, like all of that's missing. And I think about this. I have a lot of friends that we see, like, politically maybe very different, but when we actually talk, we see the things very similarly. But we can have that exchange because there's so much foundation of the relationship built into it. So we can be cordial, we can be more open to receiving what they're saying, and vice versa. And so that art of dialogue is critical. And I feel like as we've gone so much into the text-based stuff, we've missed that art of dialogue. And discussion and conversation and debate and all of that stuff that used to be, people used to be proud of, right? Like there used to be debate clubs and all of that. So back to your question, yes, we want to host these. We definitely have the intention of hosting more of these exchanges with people that can do it from various different viewpoints. Like the one thing that makes this country great is being able to have different viewpoints, and the viewpoints come from your experience, and they're all valid. Every experience is valid. But how do we get to a point where we can come to a consensus that, all right, yes, we all come from this experience. Yes, we see the flaws here. How do we work together where everyone has the intention that we all want to make it better?
Yeah, absolutely. This is exciting. And so how many people are on it? Interesting. How many people are on it total? And where is it going to be? There you are again.
I'm good. I'm Tejal Shah. I'm one of the founders of Votivate.
Oh, cool. I love this. Is this Vimeo based? Is that what that
It
is?
is. It is Vimeo based. Yes. Yes. So, so yeah. So basically, the video section you're seeing right now is kind of gonna. It's kind of gonna be. It's kind of like a Netflix on demand sort of thing where you can see all of these. We're going to add more captions, so it's easier for people to know what each of these videos is covering. And then we're going to talk about issues.
Mm-hmm.
We're not going to, identify anyone with any sort of political party. We're going to really just talk about the issues and get to a consensus where people can talk about their ideas and exchange them. And then from that, maybe even crowdsource some legislation for the people, by the people.
Oh, talk about that more. How are you thinking?
Yeah, so I think people have great ideas, and it starts in their own community. So, it's funny. We can talk about like polarization, but when it comes down to your neighbors and community, you have a similar experience. So it starts there, where when you're experiencing something similar, it's easier to maybe come to a consensus on how to fix a problem because you're experiencing it from the same lens, right? Now, when you go like hyper national, like I don't know what someone in Idaho is facing, whereas like I'm in San Francisco or someone in Texas or Maryland, right? Like each problem is very different in that geographic sense, and each workings are slightly different. But at least in your own community, you have people that have different views on it, but you're experiencing the same thing. So we need to be open and having those conversations. So that's kind of what the platform allows you to do. Find those people in your, by finding those people, and then, start talking about how you would fix some of the problems that you're facing at a local level. And then with our connections and stuff, we would bring in legislators and other people, politicians in the community to help funnel those ideas.
Hey, so in development, it was occurring to me as I'm listening to you and watching this that we're on StreamYard right now.
Yeah.
We're both familiar with Zoom. You mentioned another platform that I wasn't familiar with. What was it again? Not Restream. It was
Restream.
Restream. Yeah, Restream. And by the way, yeah, Restream. As I now think of it, the mayor's Oakland Mayor Libby Schaaf, my god sister, but her staff uses Restream. I was thinking, where did I see that before? It's and then I use Jitsi Meet, and I started. This is what I did. I think I'd love to share with you as a way of trading ideas. But it's on Oakland News Now as a I call it a video conference center. But I've been interested in, though not obsessed with, the idea of getting people to interact online with video, much as you're doing. And so along those lines, I'm actually going to open this up now.
Now you're going to have to come on to our platform and talk.
yeah, definitely. Because I really believe that solving this problem is the next frontier. I'm going to ignore that. And what I'm doing right now is I'm going to put this in the area so you can see it. Right here. Remove that and then add this right here. And everything is an agenda here. That's you, an agenda, and that's not it. And for some particular reason, you know what? I don't know what I'll do. I'll go back here, and then I'll replace. The funny thing about StreamYard is sometimes it doesn't exactly want to shift over when you want to shift over to a particular window. So you have to go and force the URL and then force the browser to take it. And then voila.
There we go.
Right. And so basically what you can do now is you can go on and it's going to use the camera.
Oh, I love this.
Yeah, see? And it says join meeting. Now I'm just playing around with this. This is
cool. This is kind of a video version of Clubhouse.
See, I don't know what Clubhouse is.
Oh, so it's an app where you basically go into these rooms to talk about various things, but it's all audio.
Yeah. See, what I wanted to achieve was a video kind of public playground in a sense.
Kind of like chat roulette. Have you heard of that?
No, I haven't. See, this is awesome. This is awesome. Yeah, I haven't.
So chat roulette is similar, where you can just like, basically it's a roulette of everyone that wants to do a video call and chat, and then like it just matches you up with someone. But there's no, like, it's more social than like agenda driven.
Yeah, and I think where you're headed is more advanced than where I want to go. So somehow we need to team up.
We do. I know, this is great.
You know, this is and this is on Oakland News Now right now. So
Hi,
that
Oakland News Now.
Hey everybody, that we're watching, and this is visible. Yeah. But and so anyway, me stop that. But the whole point is, you get the idea. And this is Jitsi. Embed our meetings in no time, copy paste done. Right, that's their platform. But what I'm kind of disappointed in is that YouTube could do this, and they're not doing it. However, I'd love to mate. I have to talk with them, but this is my focus, is how to use the blog system to bring people together visually. And right now, what we do is we have our smartphones, but what you're having is in the direction of where I want to go. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, I agree. I think we're losing people when it's just text, because it gets angsty so quickly. I thought that my friend sent this meme, which was like so perfect. This is social media, right? Like, oh, I prefer strawberries over mangoes. And then the response is like, how can you hate mangoes? Like, you hate mangoes. Like, why would you ever hate mangoes? I can't deal with you. You're a mango hater. Peace out. And the person never said that they hate mangoes. They just said they prefer another fruit over it. But it's such a funny meme, because like it rings true when you think of bigger topics.
That's true. I like both strawberries and mangoes, or a Manhattan versus a martini.
Yes, I like both. See, this is what I'm bringing to the table. I'm not an or person. I'm an and person. So I want my Manhattan and my martini, just on different days.
Hey, how did you get into trying to bring people together communicatively in this state? What's your background, if I may? Yeah.
I'm actually a mechanical engineer.
Nice. Nice.
But I always have a deep-rooted passion.
You wanted to build the next car, right? Is that
what?
You want to work on cars?
I did work on cars. I designed fuel systems for a while.
Whoa.
And then I did medical devices, and then I went into the financial sector.
You went that makes sense. So did you want to work for Tesla? Do you know Elon Musk or something?
I do not know Elon Musk. The guy's a trip, though.
I've read.
Same. Yeah, and then I just love technology, because I think I love the premise of technology is to solve problems at scale, and I love that. I want to be a problem solver. I think that's my passion and my purpose, and at scale is kind of what I want to do.
How did you grow up in the Bay Area? Where are you from originally?
I'm a Central New Yorker. I grew up in Syracuse, a suburb of Syracuse, New York.
Jets or Giants?
Growing up, Jets. But now I'm a 49ers fan.
That makes sense, because you're in San Francisco.
Yeah, well, I had to part ways with the team a few years ago, and then I asked my youngest son what team I should root for, and he's like, nobody's rooting with the 49ers with me, because my husband and son are Lions fans, Detroit Lions.
Wait, explain that. Is he from Detroit?
Yes, and I've painfully had to be part of the team.
He's a Lions fan. He is never a happy guy.
No, thank you. So I'm like, please don't do this to our children. Please don't do this to our children. So one of them did end up being a Lions fan. I'm like, this is going to be a rough road for you. And then the younger one loves the 49ers. So then I decided to join him.
So I got to ask the question, why don't you just be a Raiders fan and make it easier?
I should. The younger one doesn't get any love in terms of someone rooting for his team. So. And that's my baby, so.
How old is he?
He's 9, and my older one's 12.
Oh yeah, perfect age. I mean, I haven't had the pleasure of being a parent yet, but that's football. If I had kids, I so that's will cover the NFL.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so I think their lives wouldn't be entirely different. It would be more along the lines of they would probably pick the opposite of whatever organization I was paying attention to,
The
because if I
talented.
ever have kids, they're going to be a lot like me. Well, whoever I marry, so they'll be contrarian. So
Oh,
anyway,
that's so funny
yeah,
you say that. I
definitely.
think kids are born contrarian. Like that's their goal in life. I say this about my older one, and now he knows the word. He's like, I'm not contrarian. I'm like, you're being contrarian by saying that.
Hey, what in building Votivate? What have you discovered about our society that you didn't know before?
Oh, great question. The fact that I think this kind of goes along to what you say, like most people want the same things and we actually are on the same side, but it's these other platforms that really do they make money on the divisiveness. I think I did see that play out in building this. So when we first started this, the goal was to actually have more in-person stuff because we started this before the coronavirus, and it was about to get people to meet in person, to like kind of build up that community activism. And then coronavirus hit, and we actually found that in some cases it was a good thing because you could reach a larger audience, but not so great because the divisive nature of kind of where everything has gone.
Have you been, offered money to represent a political view? Let me explain where I'm getting at. I have noticed, and I alluded to this before we were communicating privately, but I think it's worth sharing publicly. And because I've said so before that Democratic bloggers and blogs have went down in number, and they don't share content versus their conservative counterparts. So it doesn't matter if it's Breitbart or Red State by Eric Erickson, or I've known Michelle Malkin for years. She's actually an online friend, and we debated, but she's made a killing off, being a conservative blogger and now vlogger. And it seems like there's no money flowing there's little money flowing the other direction. And I'm wondering why that is. Have you touched the edges of what that reason might be?
A little bit. I think the conservative blogs and stuff just like get that this is a money business and we're going like it is capitalistic at its core. And they may not agree with everything that they print or say or whatever, but because they put on their business hat.
Mm-hmm.
I think on the other side, on the more liberals, like blogs and stuff like that, I think there's just like this innate nature of they're more nonprofits. It's more like very community based, and I don't think so they stay away from like the capitalistic side. So then there's all this moral dilemmas and altruistic nature of it. So I think that's kind of where I would go with it. I mean, I can't tell you how many business people have made money off of that Trump brand in terms of selling all sorts of paraphernalia of that, not anything to like, they're not licensed by it or whatever, but I don't think the Trump brand cared in that as long as that message was going out, right? Like, I think I saw ads for Trumpy Bear, Trumpy ties, Trumpy pills, like all sorts of, and I'm not like, I know it sounds funny, but if you look at it, it's just capitalistic. Do these people always support that? No, but are they making a buck off of it? Yes. And that puts food on the table.
Yeah, and I was also thinking about just separate from Trump, just corporations.
Yeah.
And it's easier to get a corporation to pay money to a conservative organization that advances their beliefs. I mean, I've even experienced it with certain issues, but on the other side of it, like let's say climate change, you don't find a lot of companies actually paying for that, but you find individuals like Tom Steyer,
Mm-hmm.
okay, pours millions into nonprofits and also media, but he's almost the exception to the rule.
Yeah.
You know, and which is unfortunate. I
And
don't
he's
know.
also vilified for being a billionaire. So
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
yeah.
exactly. You know, that's it. Yeah.
I think we lose the ands a lot, right? Like I think people are, human nature is really quick. This is the psychology part that's fascinating to me. We're really quick to put things in boxes that make sense, but we don't want to be put in a box either. So it's an interesting dilemma. And I think that's what's one thing I learned from Votivate is that there's room for like multiple things. Like none of us all identify on the political spectrum in one crazy way. You may have a few fringe, but for the most part, like no one's truly left, no one's truly right. And based on
Right.
your experience, you can go all over the map on that. And so I find, but the one thing with corporations is very simple. They're capitalistic. They need to make money. And so then you have these, people saying, well, you need to have a social conscience behind it. Well, now you're talking a different language. And it's great that the companies that can do both, it's just not, our society isn't built for that though.
You think that's changing?
I think people want these things. I just don't think people know how to get there.
And I ask because, for example, I've seen in terms of commercials or television shows, like for example, The Neighborhood, its debut for the fall season on earlier this week was around Black Lives Matter. And if you know, I've watched The Neighborhood, it's about Cedric the Entertainer and then Max, I forgot his name, but Cedric's black, Max is white, they're neighbors, and Max is new to this predominantly black neighborhood, and he's running for city council, and you get these interesting cultural interactions. But this particular episode dealt with protest. One of Cedric the Entertainer's sons got caught in it. A friend of his son was put in jail, and Max's character wanted to go and get him out and didn't understand. He didn't understand what it meant to be black versus white in America, and it was a lesson for him. It was a really great episode.
Yeah.
That ended with essentially CBS helping the mainstream, which was already mainstream, Black Lives Matter. And I was watching my mom, who was 86, and she was really happy. She was very pleased to see that, right?
Yeah.
That's why I keep thinking that is one example. I think of others in my head where it seems like society is changing, while corporate America is latching on to these symbols and helping advance their meaning.
I think that's great, and I'm for it because I don't think Black Lives Matter is a political statement. These are people's experiences in our society together collectively, and this is something certain people are experiencing, and we need to allow for them to be heard and to say, hey, that's not right. So what I'm saying is, and this goes to your point, like I agree, like we are coming to that. Where we don't know how to get there is people saying it's political and, like not understanding it's not. It is affecting Americans in our country that live in next door neighbors, our friends, our classmates, our coworkers, everyone.
Yeah.
My new best friend.
Yeah, absolutely. Back at you. Absolutely. Yeah. And because we have stories, and I was saying to a friend of mine that it feels like for Black men, we have our version of a Me Too moment, because we're talking about, I was telling him about highway patrol officer, to make a long story short. I went to get his help on the very bridge coming back because I was being tailgated. I didn't know why. I couldn't get rid of him. And so I actually flagged the guy, and I was in front of him. And so rather than go after the guy behind me who was going at 80 miles per hour that way, he stayed behind me, flashed his lights, and he and his partner then put their handcuffs on me and said, we won't be long, and had my hands in the air like that and everything. And I'm thinking he's going to arrest me. So tears start going down my eyes. And the officer says, oh, you're going to do that. So next thing I know, he body slammed me on the hood of his patrol car, picked me up and body slammed me on the hood of his patrol car. I had an out of body moment, completely went out of my body. And then, you're supposed to be out. I wasn't over the limit when they actually had this machine checked because we went to court twice, and the officer never showed up twice. And so, but he had reported, and the reason why I stayed almost in jail almost 3 days was because what did I delayed arrest? And I'm thinking, what did I do to delay arrest? Oh, excuse me, because he tried to make me a hood ornament on his squad car just because he felt like he could. You know, I mean, it's like every one of us as black men have these stories.
Yes.
And we should.
Every single one, and the kid, and it's younger and younger and younger who have them.
Yeah, and it needs to stop. You know, it really does. We are 6 minutes over. I promised the time that you got to have your back. Hey, stick around. Tell people how they can join Votivate, please.
Yes, so you can just go to votivateusa.com. That's VOTIVATE USA.com, and you can create a profile and stuff. You can also follow us on social media, Votivate USA on Twitter as well as Instagram.
And there it is, folks. This is Votivate. Just yeah, and so you can go and there's home. You can sign up there.
Yeah, and if you want us, DM me or any of the social handles, and we'll start sending you emails. We have awesome polls and stuff that you can participate in, and a lot of other stuff. And then we go live on Twitch. So Zenny, you're going to have to come and visit us on our show.
I will do that. Oh, definitely. Hey, who designed the site? It's nice and clean.
Oh, thank you. So we have a great team. Our team is, so I mentioned Andrea, then we also have Matt and Manny. So still a small but mighty team right now, and we'll hopefully be growing soon.
Are you finance, first stage, second stage?
We're really early, so we're still bootstrapping for the time being. A lot of exciting changes happening on the site in the next coming weeks. So so we're looking forward to I think everyone's looking for an exciting 2021.
Yeah, we need exciting 2021. So hey, folks, stick around backstage, Tejal, and everybody. I'll be back later. We've got Mike Hutchinson later this evening, who was Oakland City Council District Board candidate. He won for the 3rd district. He's going to be our guest. And then later tonight at 9:30 Eastern, my former boss, Oakland Mayor Elihu Harris, will be on to talk election 2020 postmortem. All politics. So you started it off for us. Thank you very much on a Friday.
I love it. It was some exciting guests, Zenny, and thank you so much for having me and the chance to share Votivate with your viewers. So thank you so much.
You got it. We're going to have you back too.
Yeah, same.
And so that, folks, that ends this broadcast.